Welcome everyone to 13 minutes of gig news in 13 minutes or less. Okay, we're going to start off with autonomous. How how could I resist, right? How can I resist this? So Wednesday or Thursday night on the roundtable, we talked about something that happened on Wednesday. On Wednesday, California, the state of California revoked Cruise Autonomous's license to operate in the state anywhere out of San Francisco. No warning, no time to vacate, an automatic revoke of all Cruise autonomous vehicles, and they're done. So they're based out of Texas. They operate in Austin. There's a federal probe going on into all autonomous vehicles that are being operated, those by Waymo as well and Cruise, but Cruise especially. And Cruise is operating in Austin. On Friday, Cruise shut down all autonomous anywhere that doesn't have a driver. Maybe you guys don't understand the big meaning of this, um, but look, they've been trying and operating and paying their ways into city. Finally, everybody's acknowledging how dangerous this is, and that the fact that they're at like 70% efficiency with the parts that are used, that's not good enough. That is not good enough to put interacting with human drivers. We know that these vehicles learn. We know they can't transfer that learning to the next vehicle. Each vehicle must learn for itself. There's only so much data that can be given to it on how to operate. It needs to learn the intricacies on its own, each one. And then the lifespan of a vehicle, well, we all know that they don't last forever. So as it gets smarter, it also is dying with age. But they are shut down. Um, After they were kicked out of California on Friday morning when they made the decision to shut it down, but I think the bottom line is that federal probe was gonna get them regardless. They like a lot of gig apps and the legislation that's coming, they're pushing the envelope so hard that for some reason, and I've always said this, I don't know why they think they're gonna get away with it, and now they're not. Now we're seeing signs. Legislation's coming next year. We know about this. Um, So I'm stoked about that. I think that this is a great first move. I do know that Waymo took advantage of the situation, and now in Phoenix is offering Waymo One rides through the Uber app. I have looked into it, and I've asked a few people to look in their market, and they don't like when I was in Vegas and did the autonomous and took one. Um, there was drivers in there, but these are driverless, and nobody sees the. I could see the option in the Uber app. Everybody I've asked down there can't see it in the app, but the articles I'm reading say that it shows the zone, and it's a big zone. It's a big part of Phoenix. And it says that when you order a car, it will pop up, hey, an autonomous is available. Would you like to ride in a driverless vehicle? So I don't know if maybe you just can't order them. And maybe if you order an Uber, you might get a suggested autonomous. I don't really know how that's working. And I don't know if potentially there's just one autonomous. Because you guys, this might sound silly, but don't think this is silly. There might just be one autonomous in Phoenix that is operating driverless, and they're keeping it in a neighborhood, even though they're showing this whole zone or in an area, because they're taking advantage of Cruise basically closing their doors. Because I mean, they did this the same day that Cruise got kicked out of California. And now all the media print, if you Google Waymo, if you Google Uber, the whole first page will be news about how you can get Waymo 1 in Phoenix. But if you Google autonomous, the whole first page will be Cruise is shut down, federal probes, all the reality. So just sometimes when you're Google searching things, think of that. Um, I did a piece this week with the Long Island Dash Experience, Lou and Mary, and Lou had a good point. Um, he said, first of all, our delivery app's too expensive. Tips are lower. I asked him what he thought. I mean, we all have our opinions. I do a lot more final stage courier like B2B stuff with the apps. I like to work these days because I think the pay is better. But for like food delivery, we were talking about tips being lower. He does a lot more food delivery than me. So I said, do you think it's more people not tipping, or is it the same people who were tipping are now tipping less? And he said, yes, the second one. He thought, yes, people who used to tip are tipping less. And, you know, and he also pointed out that he honestly thinks that since the pandemic, many people have become addicted to these apps and literally can't afford them, the customers. And so maybe what they're starting to do is feel that crunch of how expensive these apps are to them, and they're not tipping now, thinking that we're covered. There's always been a little mystery there for the customers. The customers have always thought, "Oh, the drivers are taken care of." They really don't, most people until actually talk to them, if they haven't worked in the gig economy and they obviously have used these apps, they really do think the drivers are paid much better than we are. So, um, bottom line, we are in a recession. Inflation is not even close to under control. Um, Customer usage of apps is down across the board nationwide. We've been looking at these statistics through the para work that we do, and they're down everywhere. Some markets are faring better than others. Sure, I live in a good gig market, so yeah, if you're multi-apping, there is a way to make things work right now, and you feel a bit pinched. But in other markets, there are people feeling more than a bit pinched. There are people feeling downright frustrated, and I get it. But to be fair, um, oh, and oversaturation is through the roof too. We all know this, but it's been getting a little worse. And that's kind of, to be fair, W-2 layoffs are high right now. Um, Good jobs, and by good jobs I mean like careers, are few and far between. And career longevity is, my guess is that the new generation won't even be a term, because that's not a thing. Career longevity, like the days of going to college, getting out and starting a career with Ford, ending a career with Ford. That doesn't happen anymore. If you work in the W-2, you're most likely to have 3 to 5 jobs in your lifetime. So job longevity is not there. A temporary job longevity can be, but businesses are closing. Things are merging. When this happens, what do? They don't onboard more people. They always offboard some from both, if not one. Um, so it's everywhere. So in summary, everyone right now is hurting, across the board. So what I reduce your budget anywhere you can. I know a lot of you are saying, I can't. I'm at my wit's end. Okay, well, anywhere you can. I'm just saying, it's just, obviously it's just good advice. Do not try and work. This is my advice. Do not try and work more gig app hours to make up for the slowdown in the economy, because it will drive you crazy. Um, because when it does turn around, you don't want to be beyond burnt, done, finished with this stuff, and have moved on to something worse. Or, is there something better out there for you? I don't know. There's seasonal jobs and other things you can look into, that some of which can be independent contractorships. You could still continue to do the apps and have some flexibility doing something else too. Look into it. Um, but, if need be, my best advice would say that until things turn around, and hopefully the holidays will help do that, try shaking things up with your hours. So let's say that you work 40, 50 hours. Don't turn it into 70 doing the same tactics that you're doing, and then say, okay, well, doing 70, I made what I made working 45 a month ago. Don't do that. Know your market, onboard to new apps, find new pockets of time and areas that you can try new things. Um, I mean, shake it up a bit, but try and shake it up with the same amount of hours that you are used to working. Don't try and push it over the limit. Just personal advice. Last thing, on October 25th, I posted an article on ridesharerodeo.com slash, you can also go uberlyftdrivers.com. The October 25th article is a study that was done on gig worker burnout. It is definitely worth a read. I will put the link in the show notes below. And I think you guys should read it. Even if you just read the first parts, like the hypothesis and the conclusion and what the results, and then there's a link at the bottom of what I have up on the website that'll take you to the complete study if you really feel like diving in and understanding what has happened here and what they're looking at, because there's some real intricacies that if you do have some time between dashes or whatever while you're waiting for a good offer, read it. It might grab you, it might suck you in. I mean, I did. I looked at the whole article. I think it was a really good read, and I think it was a really good study. A lot of studies aren't done that well, and often they're funded by by companies. So a lot of times studies can be skewed, but this one is worth a read. I would you guys check it out. Also, please, I would love to know how you are doing in your market right now. Um, do it in a comparison. Do it year to year. Do it summer to now. However you want to do a comparison, or just put how your market is right now. But some sort of comparison would be great. I'm in this market because I already talked to people all around the country for the audio podcast and through Para, but I would love to know in the YouTube community, how are you doing? Which apps are you working? Um, have you onboarded any new ones? Have you done anything to change the game? And I think other people need to read these kind of stories too, because even if it's just frustration and that no, things are down, things are tight. Um, you know, I, I'm just waiting for things to turn around, and I'm onboarded to 8 apps. I multi-app. Maybe you're doing everything right. Again, the economy is hurting everybody. This is a no joke situation. But please leave in the comments how it's going for you. I would love to know. I'm going to be doing on this week's audio podcast. I don't know how many of you on YouTube listen to it, but um, listen, it drops every Tuesday on all platforms that do audio podcasting. So Spotify, Apple, anything, it's on there. Rideshare Rodeo audio podcast. Look for the Tuesday drop, and this Tuesday's will be um, my take on the pulse of the gig economy right now, moving into next year. And some of it is, some facts I'll be putting out there, and some of it is opinion based on those facts and trends. So, but I do think you guys should listen. Okay. Even if you don't always listen, listen this week. And that's 13 minutes of gig news in just under 13 minutes. Thanks, y'all. Peace.